ratio was used here as an example. Actually, the last 5 years or so, it's averaged about 96.25 to 96.50, and it's on track again to do that this year. So when you do all that arithmetic, you come down the bottom, and you'll see that a good estimate, a good round number last year was $10,276,000. We move over in the 2010 column, we see with the new taxable value, the same tax rate, and we follow the same calculations on down through, and we get in round numbers $10,748,000. So actually you're talking about a total increase of $472,000, or about 4.6% in total. In terms of taxable value, it increased about $82 million. That increase was largely driven by a continued expansion of industrial inventories involving a very narrow base of properties. How narrow? Well, out of the 40-some thousand properties, about 12 of them accounted for most of this increase. And those are companies that have inventory of manufacturing facilities here in the county, primarily the NOV and private facility in that. So you had some new value attributable to new construction. You had some reduced values in the oil and gas sector, and then values for the other sectors remained relatively stable. The appraisal process and the appraisal review process for this year has been completed. We're at a point in the tax calendar now where you are beginning the tax rate adoption process. The nature of this hearing is to express your views to the Commissioner's Court as to the total amount of tax revenue they intend to generate for the next fiscal year. And then, of course, what do they intend to spend that money on? A couple of statements that fly back and forth in these kind of hearings, and if you want to bat those back all day long, that's your business. You're raising taxes. There you are. There's a arithmetic. 172,000 in round numbers. No, we're not raising taxes. We're keeping the tax rate the same. Both those statements are absolutely correct. Now, like I say, if y'all want to bat that back and forth all day, be my guest. But you basically have a situation where the rate is going to stay the same. You've got an increase in that value primarily to the industrial inventories. So that's why you have more total. The value on the individual property was $100,000 in 2009, and it's $100,000 in 2010. That tax bill is going to be the same. The value went from $100,000 to $125,000. That's going to be increased. The value went from $100,000 to $90,000. That's going to be decreased. So again, the fundamental issue that you're looking at this morning is the total amount of revenue they vote to generate and what they intend to do. If you have any questions about appraisals, individual properties, appraisal methodology, etc., any invitation to see us over to the appraisal district at any time to discuss those. In fact, if you have a citizen group, somebody who would be interested in hearing something about that, we have several programs that we have developed that we put on for folks who would like to hear that. Today's hearing is a hearing on the total amount of taxes that the county intends to levy for this year. Commissioners, any questions? Public questions?
I have one. Last year we protested, and we got a call from the guy who appraised our property. I do not remember his name. And he argued with us about the properties of Grimes County had not gone down. But then we were called at 10 o'clock in the morning and said, our appointment for the protest was arranged at 2 o'clock that day. That's outrageous.
Come see me about that. That's not standard
No, I know it's not,
operating procedure.
but that's what happened.
Come see me about that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill, I appreciate your presentation. I think you have answered some of the things that I had, but can you absolutely assure us that our individual property taxes are not going up? I'm talking about not the amount that, not the percentage, but the dollar amount we pay for taxes at the end of the year.
The individual.
The individual.
What was your value last year and what is it this year? If it was the same value,
Okay. And you're sure
then
that
you were
that's,
gonna apply the same rate.
you can assure us that that's
It's
not
gonna be
going
the
to
same
change?
bill. If it was the same value,
But if you increased your value, they
because
increased
we're
the
using the
value.
same rate. Now, if your value went up,
If the value went up, then we're.
then you're gonna pay more.
Is it going to go up again?
It is what, the rate or the value?
The value?
Don't know.
Don't know.
But the percentage is going up.
So what
Is
do
there any
you use
value
to
that went
determine the
down?
value on your
That's the
property when you
question.
do not make any changes, but your rate goes up anyway?
Okay.
Your value.
Your value goes up.
Right.
Those are gonna be based on sales prices countywide for property. All gonna go back to the market value of the property.
So you're saying that the value of our properties are actually going up?
No, ma'am, I didn't say that.
Well,
I just
then-
said that the values across the board for most properties, land type properties, we're talking about land, residential, commercial, or fairly stable.
Okay.
So do you evaluate apples to apples, or is it
Yes,
apples to
Yes,
oranges?
ma'am, that's very detailed mass appraisal methodology that we use to do that. And again, if you're interested in that, come on over, we'll be glad to go with it. Yes, sir.
Bill, and what percentage this year has value gone up or gone down? My question is, has any of this property in Grimes County gone down, and what is the percentage of the ones that went up?
I don't have those numbers off the top of my head. I can tell you on across the board or overall basis, the only thing that we raised this year was the market value on real acreage through the middle part of the county. And a small acreage range in the south end of the county. As far as across the board reductions, again, I don't think we made any widespread reductions. Our data that we run when we compare appraised value to sales prices indicates that we were fairly close on an overall basis to those sales prices, but not in excess of them, so therefore there's no need to reduce those. When we see sales prices, for example, we have a property appraised at $100,000, it sells for 95. The other way around, we have property appraised at $95,000 and sells for $100,000. 95 out of 100, we appraise that at 95% of market value. If we see those values, sales prices go the other way, but we've got the property appraised at 95,000 and sells for 85 on an across the board basis, then we start to make reductions accordingly. But the decision to leave values at the same level or to reduce the value or to increase the value is going to be made in that comparison of appraised value to sales price.
So essentially what you're saying to me is that the southern part of this county, which is closer to Houston, the land values are going up extreme. In the northern part of the county, there has been no increase in value. In fact, I believe some of that land value has gone down.
Historically, if you compare the values in the southern part, they're going to be higher than they are in the rest of the county. You've seen this middle part of the county. What has happened, I think, is as land values have increased, prices have increased in the southern part, people have decided they're going to come up here a little farther and pay a little less, so it's kind of pushing prices up.
I understand, but
But as far as at some point that stops, and you haven't seen